puck, and it's been brought by Dennis from Oxford from the 50s. It's a 50s puck.
I was at Oxford in 1953 to 1956. I played in 3 Oxford-Cambridge hockey games, 54, 55, and 56.
Credentials for playing hockey in those days were basically if you carried a Canadian passport. 58, 59, that was a very critical year for Cambridge hockey because after a long drought, when Cambridge is regularly beaten by Oxford, we actually won the game, and as a consequence of that, we were able to persuade a fairly stuffy sports bureaucracy at the university to grant the ice hockey team of Cambridge a half blue. Grueling! Grueling!
One memory of playing both varsity matches would have been the 1970 match, which Oxford won 4-1, and by an incredible fluke. 3 of the goals scored by Oxford, or 3 by one of the guys on Oxford, and I scored the 1 goal from Cambridge. We were both from St. John's, so we accounted for 80% of the goals, the 2 Newfoundlanders playing in that match.
Practices were the most interesting because we used to have to go up to Sully Hall near Birmingham. We'd leave Oxford around 7:30, made our way up to Birmingham. We'd get there about 9:30, waited for the public skating to end. We would scrape the ice clean, by which time we were completely wiped out. And then we would have our practice starting around 10:30 or 11. There were no places to get a drink, to have a beer. And so we would head back to Oxford, tired, thirsty, hungry, and get back home at 2 in the morning.
Founding captain of the women's team. So in 1981 and 82, there was not only no rink at all in Oxford, there was no women's league in England even. There were just random teams in Streatham, Bristol, Birmingham, New Street. And so it was the summer of 81, I started making calls and basically pulled together enough of a league, 4 or 5. By the end there were 8 teams in England, and set up practices in Bristol and got the team going. First varsity game was in March of 1982. Sadly, we lost, but I do remember that we lent our best goalie to the Cambridge team because they didn't have. So it was a hard loss, but it was a lot of fun, and it has continued. The women, I guess someday, we hope, will have their 100th anniversary.
Grueling does a dangerous play at the goalpost. Oh my God!
When I was there, we played Oxford in the varsity match. We played in Peterborough, and unfortunately we lost that match. But it was wonderful to play for Cambridge, and you never forget that. It was the best year of my life being at Cambridge.
By playing hockey, we endeared ourselves to a lot of British, including the head of my college, David Williams, who became the Vice Chancellor. When we get up at 4 in the morning and get back at around 10 o'clock in the morning, I'd always come in a little late to his lectures. I'd leave this big bag at the back of the lecture hall. He'd see me coming in and he'd smile. And I think that was the best mark at Cambridge I got.
Okay, number 5. Oh, gets it back. Oh, and he can't shovel it in. Oh, and he stepped back.
It was the most intelligent dressing room talk you'd ever want to hear. You'd have a room full of Rhodes Scholars and scholars generally working on their master's degrees and doctorates. Talk about Canada, talk about hockey. We really bonded. Some of the people that I played with remain good friends of mine to this day. And honestly, it was one of the highlights of my Oxford experience.
We showed up to play Cambridge, I think, with maybe about 8 players. They had a full bench and finished first that year, so we were largely outmatched. We got towards the end of the game, and they were beating us by a lopsided score of 12-3. What we learned is that for Cambridge, if they scored one more goal, they would set the record for most goals scored by a Cambridge team in a varsity match. There's never been a hockey team that worked so hard to protect a 9-goal deficit. We did it in the end and kept the score to 12-3. And after the game, it was all celebrations. We had champagne pops, which just really hit us that wow, we played in the varsity match, a game that first occurred in 1885.
The highlight of those 3 years was in 1955 when we defeated Cambridge by 29-0.
We were down 3-0, we tied 3-3. So it was a really fun time, and we hope to keep this going in the future.